It is 4 o'clock, Selectmens meeting today. We will go to the floor number 1. Reggie, got anything?
I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, but people have been asking me about the back of our sign coming into town. Is there a reason why we don't have anything on the back of
We
it?
haven't figured out what to do. I think if we have time at the meeting, we'll talk about it.
Okay,
But the suggestion that I've heard kicking around is something like, thank you for visiting Waterville Valley. And I think we should include something like a proud partner of the United States Forest Service. And
okay.
put their logo on it to make them happy.
Because I had heard that the Forest Service owned the land, and that's why we couldn't put anything there until we passed it through them.
No, the Forest
there's
Service owns
rumors
the
going
land,
around.
and that's why we have to pay an annual fee to have the sign.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we're dealing with some other issues where the Forest Service is claiming land that we were never informed was theirs years ago. And it's a point of contention, so we're dealing with it as best we can. But it really rolls into a whole bunch of other issues.
Yeah, what generally happened is that the legislature of the state of New Hampshire, when they gave the town of Waterville Valley the road, they had an act, a legislative act that says this is all yours. And since the mid-80s, this has been on the tax map as town-owned land. It was not until we constructed the sign and had it half built that the Forest Service came forward and said, no, it's not. So it's a question, it's probably cheaper to pay a fee than to fight it in court.
Okay.
Okay?
That extends out to the widening of the road, the bike paths out there as well. So that's,
Okay. I just heard questions people have asked, so I figured.
So we're thinking about doing, other people have talked about maybe putting, shrubbery on the backside. So it's not marred. But we'll get to that and we'll make a conscience of the road, maybe if someone wants to bring it up at town meeting.
Okay, great. I just think it's good that everybody's informed about why there's nothing there, 'cause a lot of people ask. Thank you.
Great. All right, we will go ahead to the financial report. Rich, do you see anything on the financial report?
They were fine.
Yeah, the only things that were in there were explained. And
we'll keep tracking. Do you want to have a number for a potential amendment on those two?
I think you said we did. I thought we said we didn't.
Well, we'll do the calculation, but 10, 15, it'll all depend on
okay, for the record,
the next
can we
couple
talk
of
about
weeks.
what we're going to
The highway department and
do for solid?
solid waste
Right.
collection. We did return the truck to the second truck to Witcher.
Yeah.
So we'll get a final bill for that,
Okay,
and then we'll calculate.
which was costing us $75 an hour.
Correct. So
Right.
to run the truck.
And how is our truck doing since it's been back?
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
We're not, if you don't, you might scare it if we talk about it.
Okay.
So it's working very well.
All right.
Yes.
And the only other question I have here on revenues under public safety, does that mean we've gotten a check for ambulances?
Yes.
Okay. Great. All right, Margaret, anything else on finances? All right, we'll move ahead then. We'll look at department heads updates and who we have in the house. We'll go with Brooke.
Rec director.
Well, we're in the middle of New Hampshire vacation week.
Yep.
Massachusetts vacation week was a little on the slow side for us. I think the skiing was good. People were on the mountain, which is good.
Can I ask, do you think there was less owner usage midweek than normal? Because it was so cold, people went home?
I think a lot of people went home. I don't know why.
But a lot of our owners weren't up here the whole week this week.
This week.
Last week, I mean,
week.
New Hampshire.
Last week was
Last
pretty nice. Last week was pretty nice
Yeah.
temperature wise.
Yeah.
It's this week
Yeah.
that we've had
Yeah.
the wind and the cold. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't say why.
Yeah, because we saw that in our business, that a lot of the owners we had anticipated seeing just left after the weekend.
Yeah, I think sometimes they leave to avoid the crowds if they have an opportunity to. But we just had a generally slower week.
By how much? 9 and 5.
I mean, I didn't do the numbers, but
But last year was the year when it was extremely cold.
well, the
and
last
you-
2
and
or
you were
3 years,
moving.
it's either been freezing cold or rainy. this was the first vacation week that I've worked here, literally in 3.5 years, where it was, the skiing was really good the whole week.
Really?
Yeah.
So it really just, we saw a change. Even though we didn't bring in as much revenue that week, we're still year-to-date on track, so that's good. But it definitely was a different week than last year. We were just complete madhouse. Yeah. So, I'm meeting with the Race Center with Leah tomorrow to try to coordinate getting some of their activities on our calendar so that we can help them. It's an easy way for us to help them get their activities on our calendar. And I wanted to tell you about that. Special Olympics is coming. They do their dance and activities. A lot of that stuff happens in the rec department on Sunday and Monday coming up this weekend. Trying to start a new page for the rec department, which will be called Hike the Whites, Water the Valley. And I'm gonna just try to gain a new kind of audience there, that we can post more pictures and be more focused, but it will all be under the umbrella of our, all the other pages that we have. So that's exciting. Hiring season is kind of coming up right after February vacation week. Is usually when I start looking at, where we need to fill in places, and so that's kind of on my mind right now. I've already scheduled a couple interviews. So. And I'm also going to do the PSU Career Fair, which is on March 20th, which is getting a good attention this year. I've never done it before, and looks like a good opportunity. That's about it. Any questions?
Rich, anything for rec?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay. Well, Rich, she's the only department head who's here. Chris was here and got called out. So I guess we'll move to calendar review. Our next meeting is after town meeting.
Mhm.
And we'll do the appointments
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yep.
And everyone will be here, I guess.
Yeah.
this year. Great.
Yes.
Now, do we want to talk about who's going to work what hours? For the polls.
I'm available for any of the time. I'm
Margaret?
the junior guy, so whatever
I
you
am
guys
too.
don't want.
So whatever you get, whatever. Margaret, why don't you pick what you would like to do?
I'm sorry.
well, you have to have a majority, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the elections, or is just one?
I think we've always had just one.
We've always had this one.
All right.
And then the selectmen can always appoint
can
somebody.
appoint
Someone else
Somebody.
down. Okay, good. Just want to
So
make
the
sure.
polls open at what time?
Noon.
Noon?
Yeah.
And they're open
Till
until,
5.
I'll take, noon to 2.
Okay, Rich?
I can finish it on at 2 to 5, a short
Okay,
period.
I'll take, that leaves me out.
Yeah,
So we can do the shorter.
That's okay.
that's okay.
We
That's
can do,
okay.
Do 1.5.
yeah.
Maybe get ready for the big meeting.
Margaret, why don't you do noon to 1:30?
1:30.
I'll do 1:30 to 3:15.
Okay,
I'll do,
that.
and then you do the closing. And the school is doing something as far as soups and stuff this year?
Yes, that's starting at 4:30.
All right, so we'll do food to eat and thermoses of coffee because we have 30 items, so it's gonna be a long evening.
In so many ways.
I say we don't allow any water or food in the gym, and then it won't take too long.
All right, so we have to add that potato chips too.
No potato chips. You give them food, they're gonna sit there, Mike.
So,
Yeah.
so soup is from when to when? I'm sorry.
Soup starts at 4:30,
And
so
they should-
4:30 to 5:30.
and they should
I
probably,
did, I'm hoping they'll be set up even earlier than 4:30.
they should publicize it so people know.
I'll help with that. We'll put that in our newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah, send me a link to it, Brooke. I'll put it on the website under
Okay.
town meeting, just.
So we're all set with that. We can move on to new business, town meetings and motions and coordination.
The one thing that I noticed is that we did not have Chris Hodges on the list of department heads in the audience, and yet later on, he is making a short
Wow.
presentation on the fire truck.
I did miss it.
Did.
Thank you.
And is Chris all set with that?
Yes. And he's gonna use basically the same slides as he did at the budget presentation. And the same thing with Jim and the trash truck.
Okay. Are we gonna use rolling microphones or microphones from up here?
Hmm.
Do we have a couple of rec kits who can run
That's the
on mics?
We
moderator.
do, I think the moderator though prefers
The
that people come
moderator.
up and speak into the microphone in the middle.
Well, it kind of falls apart after a few motions, but whatever the moderator
Yep.
moderates.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll ask her what she
Yeah.
wants to.
all right. Any questions on town meeting, Rich?
No, I'm good. I'm happy I get to do the big motion now,
There you
the
go.
budget.
Here.
And you get the keynote one,
You're-
not me.
So on page 6, we're moving, so we're gonna move Article 26 and Article 27 forward. We also could move Article 29
And which is that?
and 30, which are the,
Petitions.
no,
Petition
No?
article?
yeah, the ordinance article,
Oh, the ordinance, that's right.
so. And that'll just be a matter of the hours, you know, how long, because I'd really like to try to use as much of the hour as we possibly could.
I think 26 and 27 should be moved forward,
Yeah,
so we can have those discussions during the hour.
you don't want to move 29 and 34?
Let me see. Yeah, we can also do those too.
Okay, because that should take, that's Brooks' chair.
Okay.
Um,
26, 27, 26, 27, 28, 29. Move those forward.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, Margaret?
28 and 29.
Those are the solid waste
Yeah.
ordinance.
The
So what
ordinance.
comes after. Okay,
Rich,
I'm good with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, so-
Makes sense.
let's move those into that time to work on that hour.
Okay, and then, on Article 12, if we end up tabling it.
Yeah.
And 9 does pass, you can just leave it tabled,
Right.
and then you can end the meeting and it just dies by being on the table.
Yeah.
Is there any other specific information or anything else that you wanna highlight on here?
Well, I think we might want to add, when, at some point, the back of the sign, what people want.
yeah,
So
Or,
that,
Yeah,
yeah,
you got-
you've got 30 and 31
yeah.
that you can talk about other things
Right,
if anyone
exactly.
has any energy.
all right, so Reggie, you'll be here, right?
I will, absolutely.
No, Reggie,
No, Reggie.
Oh, sorry.
you'll be, so that would be the point to bring up, the back of the sign if you wanted to, something to do that.
Okay,
And that would be under Article 31, Reggie,
Article 31.
at the very end. And we probably need to be ready to do, how many secret ballots do you anticipate on the money managers?
I don't think there might be, I'd say have 6 together, I think we
Okay.
might have 1 or 2.
Alright.
I don't think there's a lot of contention on any of those right now, or I'm not hearing it.
Well, somebody might want to
Right.
ballot on the, move to go to 5 selectmen.
Okay. So we'll have 6, Sharon, I think we have.
Yeah.
Probably enough for 6. Okay.
Okay, office staffing after 228.
Yep, I just, I've talked to Chris, I wish he was still here, but, talked to Chris and I talked to Sharon and Judy and, we'd like to close the office on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoon, until we get that part-time position filled. We'll stay open through the lunch hour for people, close from 1 to 4 on those 2 days. That'll give us some time to do the clerical work that really needs to not be interrupted, things like doing the retirement calculations and payroll reporting and that sort of thing.
Now,
And Sharon
does
has a
it
lot
have
of
to be done every week?
No, not every
No.
week, but there are things like
I was
that.
just gonna say, each week
Yeah.
there's things scheduled so
Okay.
that they're staggered.
The questions and concerns I would have about that would be, first of all, we have to publicize it very, very, very well. And I think if someone comes in with an emergency, we don't turn them away. You know what I mean? If someone is up here and has to,
That's why we're staying open on Mondays and Fridays. People are here, those are the days
no,
that they're here.
I've got you, but until people understand this, I don't, it takes a while for the news to come out. And I think, someone who repeatedly shows up on a Tuesday and Thursday. But I don't think you're gonna have that. I think there just has to be some consideration.
Sharon, what are the days that are least busy count-wise?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, because with the planning board meeting in the morning on Thursday morning,
Right.
there's activity, coming and going from that. Fridays, someone getting something done before the weekend. Monday to get it done at the start of the week and get it off their plate, sort of thing. And Wednesdays with our meetings here, your meetings, that tends to be just the middle of the week. They get something in the mail on Monday, get it done before the end of the week. So Tuesday is actually probably the quietest day overall of the week.
And March and April are the quietest
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
that we
What
have.
if you took the entire day on Tuesday as an administrative day? Does that work?
Well, we didn't want to close because of like what Mike was saying. We want to be open at least part of the day.
Okay.
And I really think if we can get people in this mode, that it's going to be the least intrusive to do just a part of
Okay.
a day. I did think about an entire day, but that's hard, especially with the
Okay,
phones and
so
everything else.
Tuesday and Thursday, you're open from
8 to 1.
8 to 1.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine, till 1,
Yeah.
as long as it's after.
Yeah.
8 to 1.
I mean,
Absolutely.
And certainly if somebody comes in at, 3:00 in the afternoon and they rush to get here and they're,
Yeah, that's my
something
concern.
expires, but,
Yeah.
I'd like to say, hey, we are closed, but, are you able to come back tomorrow? Can we do this tomorrow? Or does it, are you leaving the state and your plate
Yeah.
expired 2 days ago? And,
That's kind of what I'm
there's
saying
extraneous
is-
situations, but,
There's not emergency with it.
Sure.
That's exactly the thing
but it's, most folks generally have some flexibility, to come back in.
How's that sound to you, Rich?
Sounds okay to me.
Okay,
Can
Margaret?
you put something on the phone line when people call in that says, if you want to know the office hours, here's what they are?
Or please don't argue the powers.
Yeah, something.
I could look into that. We
Yeah.
haven't changed that recording in quite a while. We'd have
Yeah,
to,
we'll look
yeah.
a way to do that.
Yes,
We'll
that's
put it on
another way to do it,
Facebook.
because a lot of people
Yeah.
won't
Get it
just
on.
show up here without.
There,
We'll continue to publicize it.
yeah, there's some days that you don't have anybody come in, and there's some days that it's, you start to do something and it's you get, 2 minutes into each thing you're doing and it's,
Yeah.
you get up and have to walk away from it
It's
again.
gonna
Yeah.
be a Tuesday at 1:05 and someone comes in with 22 car registration.
Well, not 22, because that would only be the mountain.
Yeah.
And they're only in
And they're
December.
coming back the next day.
Yeah.
I think that works for all of
Okay,
us.
good.
Okay,
All right.
great. We're gonna go back to department head when Chris is back.
Hello. Busy mass vacation week. New Hampshire, this week hasn't been so much. So this week we've been getting ready for Special Olympics. They come in Sunday. I believe we're looking for a welcome from somebody. Okay. I thought you were gonna be gone. That's
I
why
thought I was gonna be
So
gone
I
too.
don't know if I'm gonna be, I don't think I'm.
I can do it if you're not.
Okay, yeah, I've gotta go to Boston, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so
If it changes, I'll let you know, I'm dealing with some schooly
Okay.
stuff.
I'll do it.
So you're gonna start seeing some work set up being done starting tomorrow.
We got plenty of snow, which is great.
We do.
Can you get the athletes into the 8 fairways?
Yeah, that's what, so Nate and I are gonna go out tomorrow and work on that.
How many calls have you had?
Vacation week, is that like ambulance calls or calls all together?
Ambulance calls.
About 15,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah.
It's not like old times,
Yeah.
but it's recently, I mean, compared to recently,
Yeah.
it's.
Is any more of that due to the fact that we don't have physicians on staff up at the clinic?
A lot of that is, yeah,
And
because we
it's
see,
just safe to get people out.
we see some, what we've seen is some pretty nasty fractures that normally would have been, stabilized and casted up here that we bring to the hospital. So, yeah, but we still, it's still not like it used to be. It was, we used to have like 7 a day in classification. So other than that, everything's just been going along and we've been pretty busy.
Has a new officer started, or is he still at the academy?
He's still at the academy, but he does do some field training here.
Yeah.
When he has time. He's doing very well. And I was actually away. Did you meet him?
Logan. Oh,
Logan?
Logan, no.
We'll try to get him in here.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's some young blood in the department, so it's kind of a breath of fresh air.
Like young blood.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
my
he's-
4th child, you know.
He's so uptight. He's so uptight. Very, very good guy.
And you have your votes rounded up for the fire engine?
We're still doing our homework.
I
I think it's gonna be fine.
We're,
haven't heard a lot
No,
recently.
the negatives have stopped being negative.
Yeah, because there were, I think because of the work that you did to look for a used one.
And we're still
continue
doing
to
our-
do.
We're
Yeah.
still doing our homework. We didn't just drop the ball after the budget hearing. We're still,
Right.
listening and we'll see what happens at town meeting.
All right, then we'll move on. Well, 3 engineering.
So my recommendation is here, I received this notice that I included in your packet. The Clean Water and Drinking Water State Revolving Funds also include a grant component. So I think it is important for us to go to this workshop. And both Jamie and Joe have extensive experience with those revolving funds. I think either one of them could do the job. Now that Jamie is linked in with a larger GZA, geoenvironmental engineering firm, they have
This is
engineers
Jamie.
who, Jamie Emery, the guy who's
Have
doing
they
our
worked with
work.
somebody?
Yes,
Okay,
they became a division of GZA.
and what's GZA?
It's a very large
Okay.
geotech engineering firm from the whole East Coast, basically. The advantage, I think, with Joe is that he did the design work on everything
Right.
that we have in the
And who
ground.
is
right
Joe
now.
with now?
Joe is with Hoyle Tanner.
Okay,
They're a very large firm.
Right.
They have a lot more assets than CMA.
and they're taking over the engineering on this?
Well, it's your decision.
Right,
I
but
mean,
no,
we can,
we're assuming because Joe has the experience in designing the system, being
that's right,
part of that, we would take it
That's
to this new firm.
that's
As
right,
opposed
to
to
Hoyle Tanner,
the new
rather than
people.
go back to CMA.
Right.
Everybody who has been involved in our project has left CMA.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Even the young woman who took the
even,
place?
yeah, she went to Wright Pierce, actually. So,
Okay,
the same company that does our dam.
you're right.
So, so there's really no one there. And, they're a professional CMA is a professional engineering firm, and I'm sure they could do it. But we're gonna do a whole train up on a new
Right, yeah.
person. And so, I think either one of these two firms could do it. And if you're all right, I'll talk to Joe and find out what he can do. I mean, he's certainly,
Can they write the grant?
yes, they can write the grant, they can, yes. That's part of why, either one of them.
Yeah.
can do that. And that's why I think we should use either one.
What's your recommendation as to who we use?
Well, I think that we should talk to Joe and find out what his ability is to do it.
Yeah.
And get an estimate from him. And if you're satisfied with it, go with it. If you're not, then we'll talk to Jane.
Okay, the $82,000 that's still available for engineering
Mhm.
services,
Yes.
isn't that specifically tied to the Emory Fund?
No.
No.
No, that's just tied to the Well 3 project.
Well, 3 project.
Right now, for the Well 3 project, we have a contract with Emery and Garrett for the work at Well 3. And that is a contract for $89,850. But that is all of the improvements at Well 3 and includes the contractor price
So
in
they
that
would,
number.
so they would have to pay Lee or whoever.
They pay Lee or
Yes.
whoever they use, right, out of that 89.
Right.
So that's an all-in contract with Emery and Garrett. And that will give us the fully protected Well 3. The work the engineering that I'm talking about, that we would go to the state revolving funds would be to connect Well 3 or make the improvements at Well House 1, whatever we're gonna do.
Or put the other well into, well 2 into.
Well 2 into the building.
Now, what are you talking about, well 1?
Well,
One is all-
remember, we're going to look at the option of reconnecting Well 3 the way we have historically done it. We don't think that that's gonna be a
No, I thought.
very
well,
cost-effective.
Right, I thought our main
Wait.
plan was to try to bring
Our main
well
plan is
2,
to
well 2 across the 4.
Well 3 across
Yeah,
to the new building and connect Well 2 to the new building
Right.
at the same time. We think that that's the most cost-effective way. But I will have him look at what improvements would have to be made at Well Building 1. But they're gonna be extensive,
Yeah,
especially with all that electrical damage that we
Yeah.
have, right? So, but I would try to use, as little of this. I think Joe already, when he was at CMA, had already looked at the connection of Well 3 to the new well building. So I think all the concepts
the
are.
concepts are there, but the
There,
dollars were
but the-
absurd. This could, on bring well 2
That's
across.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah, we'll have to work that in and see how much that would be.
Okay.
Do you have a preference for how to?
no, I think, well, my question is, Jamie or Joe,
Right,
how do you decide who? Who has got,
Well-
I think, Joe is the engineer, but Jamie is the guy who knows the water.
well, and I think we can certainly, once we get all those improvements done over Well 3, that we should continue to talk to Jamie for the water quality side.
Right.
The actual design of the water line and connecting into the new building, I think you go to Hoyle Tanner for that
Except
work.
You wouldn't think Jamie would have the expertise, because I think,
Well,
yeah.
GZA may have
Here's-
the expertise to do
what I'm
that.
thinking is just, and this is kind of new
Mhm.
to me, is just thinking that Jamie and his group specialize in water is their only business.
Right.
And they're gonna get in the ground and they're gonna see what they discover
Mm-hmm.
and maybe find an alternative plan to fix well 3.
Mhm.
Or find out what actually killed well 3,
Mhm.
hopefully.
Yes.
So my thought would be that they have more direct experience with just specifically water. Where, Joe's an engineer, oh, I want to bring this line over to here to there. But Jamie might have the expertise to say that, well, if we bring this over here, we might risk what happened here before, which was maybe an anomaly to a degree, but it might
yeah.
be specific to us.
Jamie, Emery and Garrett.
Yeah.
The company Emery and Garrett, they are geotechnical engineers. Okay, they're the guys who drill the wells and that sort of thing. Joe and Hoyle Tanner have experience with water distribution systems, putting the pipe in the ground
I think we want
and
Joe.
and connecting it all together. I think that we actually want both of them because we still have to, like Mike just said, we have to still solve the issue around well 3. And I think Jamie is the best guy to do that. And I think Joe would say the same thing. But as far as designing the line and doing the construction supervision and that sort of thing, I think you want an engineering firm that designs water systems.
And
And-
would they both be involved in this grant?
Yes, I think they both, in fact, Jamie sits on the board of the SRFs. So I think no matter what we do, we want to keep him involved.
So we want them both.
I really do.
So it's not an either or, let's do both.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's not an either or. Both-
Okay, if
The
you're
synergy is
comfortable keeping the synergy between them, I'll start talking to both of them.
Rich, any thoughts?
I agree with, trying to keep the synergy between them. That's the obvious best solution.
Okay. Great, so we'll talk to them and see if they'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Jamie's group has got some experience that Joe might not have. And-
Yeah,
and I know
from the geo,
Because
yeah.
that's why we're having
Mhm.
problems
Mhm.
with our water now. Is
Yes.
the changes in everything have caused this.
In the actual well itself, I would want Jamie definitely helping us out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Road project meeting with condominium and property owners.
Yeah, anybody want to sit in with me when I meet with the associations? Now, this is, all we're gonna do at this phase is sit down with them, explain the situation with the lack of the boundaries and tell them that we wanna get the surveying done when the snow clears and that we will be coming back to them with quitclaim
Right.
deeds to establish the existing rights of way.
Or
as the-
easements.
Or easements or
Whichever
whatever.
tends to be
This
easier.
is for the sidewalk?
No, for
It's for the widening.
the widening of the roads and the
Becomes a road,
repaving
it's
project.
around there. What we found with the boundaries and the maps are all screwed up. So we can't really do anything yet until we establish new rights of,
rights of way.
rights of way in
And
there.
what are the condominium associations that are involved?
It will be Village, Forest Knoll, probably one, because they're the ones that have the boundary.
Right, one.
Forest Knoll one, Village, Will have a piece, Will Lambert, Mountain Sun, the Valley Inn, the resort for the Silver Fox. And then it'll be Snows Brook, I think that's Snows Brook 1.
Yeah.
That's behind the Silver Fox,
And
and then
Mountain
Mountain Brook.
And do we go down?
And Tyler Spring, yeah. So there'll be quite a few that will be.
And so you're gonna be going to their condo meetings?
Well, no, I think we want to sit down with the board first
Okay.
and explain to them what the situation is. We have a map that the engineers at Horizons gave us. Sit down with the map with them and say, this is what we want to survey, because we're going to need permission to go on their property to survey. And then talk to them about the quitclaim deed back and forth.
I don't have a problem doing it, because I have a lot of relationship with these people already.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. that
Rich, is that
that's-
all right with you?
That's fine. I may wanna just, understudy you to see the process at work, if that's okay.
Not a problem.
Okay, yeah, we can do that, Rich. We'll start setting up those meetings after town meeting.
Great.
Okay,
All right, and on old business, when's the plow truck getting here?
they did call this afternoon, and we still don't have the delivery date. So
But you guys have been down and you've seen it, right?
they have seen it. I have not personally yet. I think I'm driving down there in the next day or two. But we're ready to go get it as soon as they tell us it's.
All right, and the other stuff is the second truck back up and running or?
Yeah, I mean, we have one plow truck that is working. The loader is working, so we can plow with that. We can salt with both of the trucks. We're
Right.
using the old truck it just can't plow. It can only salt.
Yeah.
So, and they're ready for tonight, whatever happens.
Once again.
And actually, how are the guys doing with overtime and getting some sleep in?
They're getting some sleep. They've had, I think, 4 different weeks now where they've had 65 to 70 hours during the week. So
Yeah.
that's,
But you can see the clear rotation on their.
yeah, there's a
schedule on time
rotation,
cards, yeah.
so they're doing okay.
Yeah, but we're not burning anybody out.
No,
I
our
don't think
biggest
so.
challenge right now is picking up trash, quite frankly. I mean, with all of the hours that they're getting with the snow plowing, and then to have to pick up trash on Saturdays or Sundays
Yeah.
that's been the stressor, I think. They're okay.
Okay. Any questions for anything, Rich?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Margaret? All right, great. We'll move on to correspondence. We have an email from Mr. Koppel.
Volunteer for the planning board.
Yeah.
How many alternate positions do we have?
We have 2 that were open.
I have someone else who wants to do it as well.
We're
Okay.
gonna deal with appointments after
Town
town
meeting,
meeting,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right. Coalition Communities Update.
The good news is,
There's-
unless something happened this afternoon that we haven't heard about yet, the amendment restoring donor and receiver communities was removed from the legislation. So the issue was dead for this year, unless it got added on as an amendment to another bill during the voting that they had this afternoon. And as far as I know, that didn't happen. So hopefully it will not come up again until 2020 or maybe never.
We'll see. Oh, we save money on going in our lobbyists, didn't we?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do not need the lobbyist at this point.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Board concerns and directives. Rich, you got anything?
I do not.
Margaret?
I don't know whether there's anything we can do about it, but the entryway to the transfer station is a mess.
Okay.
Lots of holes. I mean,
The
deep holes.
yeah, there's nothing, I mean, we'll try to fill it with sand.
Do something,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's pretty bad. Have you been through it?
Yeah, but I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I drive so slowly through there, I avoid the potholes.
Well, it's getting to the point where you can't
Yeah.
avoid.
Or pick a broom and
Yeah,
stand.
there isn't a
Right.
route to,
All right, we'll try to fill them. If they just can't put cold patch in until the ice is out of there, but we'll try to do something.
All right. Board-
and I also wanted to commend Jim and his crew for their fast response when West Branch Lake developed
Oh, what?
a few days ago. The water was a foot deep
Where?
down by the West Branch Bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Was the water coming over the banks or was just?
no, the banks were up like this, and what they did was came and they plowed out a whole section in the water.
Yeah.
Like a little ice dam?
No, it
The
wasn't an ice
bankings
dam, it
just
was-
held the water in
Huh.
during melting. It's gonna happen all over this spring as the snow melts, especially if we get a really warm period. There's just no place for the water to go.
Right.
So that's why you see these holes cut out in the bankings along like 49.
Mhm.
It's just for drainage purposes.
And you had mentioned when they opened the ground to get to that water main break.
Yeah, we have there's about 3.5, 4 feet of ice, of frost. So it's gonna be a harsh
Yeah,
mud season.
the frost heaves was.
And the frost heaves are
Yeah.
really,
Huge.
and that's a function of the sun on the pavement. And it's starting to
Yeah.
heat up. And the freezing and thawing that's going on, especially when we get nights like last night and tonight. It's just gonna be a mess.
Okay.
Welcome to New Hampshire.
All right, without getting into names,
Can we do another privilege of the floor?
yeah, we
Oh,
could.
okay.
So, but there's no one here for that, so.
David,
Yes. He's giving him a
David,
hard
if you'd
time.
like to address the board, please state your name.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. David Britton, legal resident of Waterville Valley, resident owner, 75 West Branch Road. My request is that you will expand your definition of a stakeholder. When the very expensive consultants who have recommended the sign after we had agreed on what our brand was, they consulted with a variety of stakeholders. They didn't consult with me, and I would like to tell you who I am.
Okay.
I skied here in 1957 at the Tecumseh Downhill. I came back from Pittsburgh in '68 to ski in the National Masters Skiing Championships. I have been here pretty much since. Bird, another person not a stakeholder, has been here even longer than I have. I care very much about this place. I have 3 of my own children, and I have 4 grandchildren, and Bird has 4 children and some grandchildren as well. All of those people love the valley. They use our property, and they have, in my opinion, some stake in the future of Waterville Valley. Among the non-voting resident vacation homeowners, I can cite the Reddigs. These are people who have 3 generations involved in Waterville Valley. The Reddigs from Golden Eagle, the Bolters from High Country, and the Wrights from Village Condo. 3 generations over quite a period of time. I'm sure there are others. I think those people should have a voice. I think they should be polled to find out what they think Waterville should do. Personally, and this may be objectionable, I think that there is a little too much emphasis placed upon businesses that own some kind of income here in Waterville. I further think that the constant push to increase the number of people coming here may not be necessary. Waterville Valley is, in my opinion, one of the nicest places, most beautiful places east of the Mississippi River. I don't think there's a chance in the world that it is going to fail. By way of backing that up, Bertie owns a house and has for a long time that's on the Merrimack River in Newburyport, 1.5 miles up from the ocean. It used to be an old marina. It has its own boat launch. Across the river from us is an island that will never be developed for anything. The chance that that piece of property is going to go down in value strikes me as absolute zero. I feel the same way about Waterville Valley. It's a jewel, a beautiful place surrounded by mountains, unequaled by very many places east of the Mississippi. In my opinion, let's put it differently. I would like to be proud of Waterville Valley, to think that I lived in a model town that was model for its concerns for the environment, modeled for working out some kind of system of carts or bicycles so people wouldn't drive their SUVs to the post office or to the ski area. I'd like it to have solar. I'd like it to experiment with hydroelectric. and it goes on. I would like also, even though I know it is apparently illegal for non-resident property owners to have any kind of vote, I also know that around upper New England, there are towns where that rule presides and the non-resident property owner is unfairly soaked in the tax law. That's not, of course, what's happening here. Nevertheless, to have Waterville be an example of a town that solicits the opinion of the people who in fact love it and use it, regardless of whether they are one of the 26 people who voted for the sign or one of the 25 who voted against the sign. I think it would be nice if our town made an effort to solicit the opinions of people who have a stake here. That would be something I'd be proud of, along with the push towards solar. It's very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen in the future. Who would have guessed that mom and pop grocery stores all over the country would be out of business because of Walmart? Who would have guessed that Bradley's, Zayre's, Grossman's, Caldor's would be out of business? Who would have guessed that Sears, Roebuck, and Kmart are going to be gone? Right. The world is changing now so fast that it's very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen. The effect of the sudden increase of gourmet meals that'll be delivered by the post office to your door, how's that going to impact the always very difficult job of running a restaurant? Restaurants go out of business very, very quickly. Well, they may go out even faster. We don't know. Anyway, that's a long speech. Expand the stakeholders, please.
Thank you. I would say we're trying, David. You were a part of the focus groups for the CE group, and so were other people.
I was a part of the focus group?
Yes, because I was at them with you. When the CE group came in and gave their opinions, they brought the big posters and all of that stuff.
During the pedestrian.
When the consultants gave their final,
No, it wasn't final. It was looking for feedback. I was there and you were there. Yeah, let me.
you finish yours and I'll comment on what you've said.
All right. The other thing is, as selectmen, going back to the days of Kevin Morris, there's always been an attempt by the selectmen to include property owners who are non-voters in our process. And for years, we would make a point of at least twice a year having selectmen's meetings that were open to the public on vacation weeks when people were here who weren't normally here. And traditionally, no one shows up. We've gone out of our way to update our website, put these meetings on live, and we include everybody's feedback. When we went for the sign, the sign designs, we had something in Town Square for everyone walking through Town Square to give their opinion of which sign they prefer. So any of this stuff, to increase stakeholders, we consider anybody who loves Waterville Valley a stakeholder. And we've gone out of our way to try to do that. If you can come up with better ways for us to communicate and more ways to attract more people to these meetings or any other meetings, I'm sure we would be glad to proceed up that path. We have tried, and we don't operate in a way where the businesses and property owners control what's going on. You know, we are here for the people of Waterville Valley, the people who live here, whether they live here and vote here or whether they just live here on the weekends. That is the goal, and the people who come here are the people who love it here. You know, we are a like-kind people. We don't have a lot of divisive issues here because the people that don't want what we have here go to Loon, go to Lincoln, or someplace else where they can get a movie theater within 20 feet or a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts. So we, you know, as a board and as a town, I think, we try to include everyone in the process. If we're not doing it as well as we can, and if you can come up with a better idea, or if anyone can come up with a better idea, I think I can speak for the board, is that we are in favor of bringing everyone in to make these decisions.
Here's a quick idea. Get the email addresses of all of the non-voting property owners. List a variety of things they can check off as things that they would like to see in their valley. gather up that list. I know they can't vote, but then report back the numbers of people who favor
We could put a
the
survey.
ski area running on biofuel.
Well, that's the ski area, that's not us. That's the problem we have as this town. I have more complaints about what goes on in Town Square and what goes on in the mountain and things that we have absolutely no control over. We don't even have any pending permits right now to use as a lever against the mountain to say that, well, if you don't do this, we're gonna do this. We tried years ago when we first got into recycling and everything else to try to get the mountain involved with us, to make our recycling efforts a lot more advantageous to everyone. And it went up to a dead ear, but we had nothing to say about that because they operate in the national forest. They do, we just don't have that pull. But what we can do, and what we have been doing is if you read your water and sewer bill, we take that opportunity to let everyone who owns a piece of property to know what's going on here. And I think that's a great idea. We could create a survey and send that out in the water bills and see who sends it back and what their goals and concerns are.
Are we facing a town warrant for $150,000 coming out of the town core planning group?
Yeah,
Do the non-resident property owners know exactly what that money is going to be spent for?
if they read the town website and read the warrant articles and all this stuff.
I know, if they read the town website and if they attend a selectmen's meeting at 4 in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Or David, if we mail it to them and we throw the mail away, or if they don't open the email and it goes to their junk. We're doing what we can.
The town meeting is also a forum for people to
Right.
stand up and ask
It is,
questions
yeah.
and state their opinions.
Yes,
So the
everyone's
town
invited.
meeting's for everyone. It's not just for people that live here and are
And
residents.
people who do not even live here can speak at the town meeting.
Exactly.
They just can't vote.
What time is the meeting again?
It is at 5:30.
Tuesday at 5:30.
Right. But there's also an amendment on a proposal petition item to split the town meeting, to make the voting part on Tuesdays and the deliberative part on Saturdays.
Okay.
If that would bring more people. I agree with you. The last meeting we did here, I can tell you the two people who showed up who weren't regulars. The only two people who showed up, Gretchen from Forest Knoll and my wife. That was our whole audience.
Yeah,
And that was
and
on
you
Saturday.
conclude from that nobody cares.
No,
No,
we don't. I don't say that, but we conclude that we're trying.
or that they're satisfied
Yeah.
enough with what is going on that they don't feel they
Yeah.
have to come in and
David,
make a personal
We hear
appearance.
about stuff.
We do hear.
If the trash isn't picked up, and we've had some problems with the trash truck, all of us as selectmen have been cornered. Mark has been cornered. We all know that we're not doing the job that the town wants us to do as far as providing services. People aren't shy about that stuff. But yeah, any way to get people involved, I am for, and I would assume, I'll speak for the rest of you guys, I think you guys are too.
Thanks for listening.
But thank you for coming in and getting this on the record. Maybe this will motivate some people to come and get involved. We can't even get voters involved.
We have trouble filling the committees that we
Yeah.
have, getting volunteers to get on the committees and support, what's going on in the planning board, what's going on in the zoning commission, being a library trustee,
Yeah.
whatever it happens to be.
The only reason the planning board thing was such an
So
issue this year was people saw something they didn't understand and they
And they
came in, down it.
And they came and they
Explain.
voiced,
So right now, on our volunteer boards, there are 7 vacancies. Between the planning board, the ZBA, the Conservation Commission. There are a lot of places we can't get people to serve. Like when we had our conversation, I told you, we've had to go out and find selectmen at points. We've had to find supervisors of the checklist, all the elected officials. We've had to go out and seriously ask people to
ask
run,
people if they would run, please.
please.
Yes.
But we appreciate, David, I appreciate you coming in and bringing these things up and getting into the record. So we will move on. Is there anything else from privilege of the floor? All right, so I guess we will thank everyone for coming in. We will go into non-public if there's anything for non-public.
There's one
Right. So I will make the motion to go into non-public at 4:57. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.